This game is so interesting because it is one that, as people who say things on YouTube, this is like a catnip game. Colorado, Nebraska, Coach Prime, the Nebraska fan base, which voraciously consumes everything said and written about their team. So much interest in this game for two teams that didn't make a bowl game last year.
You remember how exciting this game was last year, too?
I know.
It's just an inherently
Colorado had
interesting
beaten TCU and surprised us. Yeah.
And
this one's going to be...
You add in a few extra pieces here, and one's a 5-star quarterback by the name of Dylan Raiola. And it is just fascinating. Like, the thing that is a little bit disappointing to me, Andy, I don't know if disappointing is the right word, but just kind of disheartening, is that when I watched Colorado play, and I wasn't here with you able to talk about that game last week, I thought I was just watching another game from last year. It looked very similar to the things that they were able to do a year ago and some of the ailments that haunted them. But Colorado really did look like the better team last year when they played Nebraska. I think that the thing that this game is going to come down to is how much Nebraska is better, not just because they have a quarterback that's young and exciting and might be the best player in college football next season, but how much are they able to shake off the grab ass that has been incessant within their program for the past 4 or 5 years? Because the thing that was most shocking to me about Nebraska's season a year ago was that even though you got a guy like Matt Rule to coach your team, you still saw elements of what hurt them during the Scott Frost era, which was terrible turnovers, bad play calls and weird times, penalties, fumbled snaps, like all these things that just are like, can you just clean it up? And I've been waiting and on high alert for the relentless competence of Matt Rule and his staff to bleed onto the product on the field, because I truly do believe that if Nebraska just cleans up the crap and plays a clean football game, they might not go win 11 games, but I think they would be a really difficult team to beat for anybody. And if you remember, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I do remember that this Colorado-Nebraska game was before the Alabama-Texas game, and I was watching that in the morning of the morning after I woke up from that Illinois nightmare. And I just thought, like, Nebraska should be in this game, but they're not, because everything that they've done is their fault. Like, are they going to have a their fault game, or is Dylan Raiola and Matt Rule in year 2 the cure for the grab ass? Like, are they cured? Somebody said it's a disease, and that's why I'm saying cured. But, like, it does seem like a disease, and that went over coaching regimes in years. This wasn't just like one possession games lost in the most humiliating way over the course of years is just as random to me as Iowa's defensive touchdown trend. Like, it's like, at what point does that weird stuff stop happening? And I think this year could be the year.
Like you were saying when we were talking about Miami over the weekend, nobody believes it until it happens. People think it's impossible until it happens. This may be the year it happens. Now, I think Nebraska's defense is the key to this thing. If they are as good as we think they are, then Nebraska should win this game, because North Dakota State just didn't have the athletes to cover Colorado. Like, you would see that they had to play zone. They couldn't play man against all those guys. They knew they couldn't cover most of those guys in man coverage. And they would lose, they kept losing Jimmy Horn in the zone. He would find these underneath spots and be wide open. And then obviously they couldn't cover Travis Hunter one-on-one. I don't know that anybody's going to be able to cover Travis Hunter one-on-one. But if the rest of the Nebraska defense can handle the rest of the Colorado skill guys, then I think Nebraska has a really good chance to win this game. Nebraska should be able to get after Shedeur Sanders. Remember, North Dakota State didn't really get after Shedeur Sanders that well. They got him down a couple times. They were in his face a little bit. But when Colorado lost last year, somebody was in Shedeur Sanders' face every second of every game. Nebraska is good enough to do that defensively. And then if you can do that, you just have to be competent on offense. And I think Dylan Raiola, we're very excited. We watched what he did. We feel good about what he did against UTEP. But I don't know that he's going to be great against a power conference opponent in his first college game against a power conference opponent. We don't know that. We just need him to be competent. Don't do what Jeff Sims did last year and keep handing the other team the ball, because that is where Colorado took over last year. Is right before half, Nebraska was just gifting them points. Don't gift them any points, and you can win this game. That said, this spread is a little high for my taste. I think Nebraska's going to win this game, but I think they're going to win it by like 3. So I'm going to take Colorado to cover.
I think I'm going to take Nebraska to cover this game. I think that Nebraska's defense should be improved. You're talking about a team that just ran the ball incredibly well. And again, I know they're playing UTEP, but you had 2 running backs who had 8 carries and averaged 7 or more yards a carry, basically. And I do think that it's a relative lock that Dylan Raiola will play better in this game than Jeff Sims did a year ago. Like, is that a crazy thing to say? Like, I thought it was like a poor
not crazy at all.
So I think it's like
not the least.
I think that's not just, can Dylan Raiola show up against a Power 5 opponent at home and play well. We're talking about one of the most transcendent athletes coming out of high school that we've had at this position in a long time. This isn't 1996 anymore. These quarterbacks are ready to play very soon through the Elite 11 things and the personal quarterback coaches and all the training that they do. They're ready to play, and he's a physical freak. So yeah. I think that Nebraska is going to be able to move the ball on Colorado at will. And I think that they are athletic enough to stop Colorado from hitting 80-yard touchdowns 2 or 3 times in this game. And I think I could see a 35-23-ish type game. And Colorado, I think, is going to score some points because I think that Travis Hunter is the best player in college football. But I think that Nebraska is going to score a lot in this game.
PrizePicks is the best daily fantasy game in America. Use that code Staples. Play $5, get $50 instantly. And so let's take us back to Saturday. I was using a demon square with Quinn Ewers and Sam Levitt. So Quinn Ewers was playing against Colorado State. I knew he was going to have a good game. My question was, will it be too good? And he gets pulled really early. And then Sam Levitt's the Arizona State quarterback. And obviously he had a good game, but at that point it didn't matter because Quinn Ewers got pulled just before he could go more than 299.5 yards. The demon squares on PrizePicks, those are a little more difficult to get, but the potential payout is higher. That's how PrizePicks work. You pick squares and you say, I think this person's going to do more than this or less than this. You pick at least 2. You can go as high as 5, and the more you pick, the higher the potential payout. I did win one, though. I went Dylan Raiola more than 235.5 passing yards. Lenora Sellers, the South Carolina quarterback, more than 40.5 rushing yards. And Nick Singleton, the Penn State running back, more than 0.5 rushing or receiving touchdowns. So that one, a $50 play, wins you $250. That's how PrizePicks work. It is so much fun. It really livens up a Saturday or a Sunday, NFL, obviously. I mean, or any day, because they've got everything. They have gaming, like League of Legends, like they've got all of it. So, download PrizePicks now, play $5, get $50 instantly with the code Staples. They've got the free squares. It's a Caleb Williams free square right now for the first NFL games this week, where it's basically more than 0.5 passing yards. So if you pick that one, you're going to get that square as long as Caleb Williams completes 1 pass. And I think he's probably going to complete a few. So download that PrizePicks app, use code Staples. Yeah, and so Sabizi in the chat saying it's the same defense as last year and Shedeur shredded them. No, he didn't. The game was 0-0 going into the second quarter. So the first points came after a Nebraska fumble. It was a field goal after a 4-play, 6-yard Colorado drive. The next score came after an interception. It was a 30-yard touchdown pass. That was nice. Then Nebraska punts again, and they kick a field goal. Like, it was 13-0 at half. The game was over at that point. So I don't think Shedeur Sanders torched this Nebraska defense last year. I think Nebraska handed them the game. So as long as Nebraska doesn't hand them the game, they're going to be able to win this game. But I do think, like you said, Travis Hunter is going to be able to do some stuff because he's better than everybody else on the field. He's the best player on the field. It really is going to come down to, do they not give it away to them?
Do you know the Nebraska schedule off the top of your head, or have you looked at it recently?
Yes, I have looked at it quite a bit. It is very manageable. If they win this game, they should be 7-0 going into the Ohio State game.
I think this team is going to be 7-0 going into the Ohio State game, and I think that we are going to be like under Dylan Raiola mania by week 6. Like
I don't doubt it.
It's like we were talking about hype trains. I'm the conductor of the Dylan Raiola hype train, almost to the point, and I'm actually kind of afraid to say this because I don't know how you're going to react. But on 3 every week, we're going to be doing like a Heisman check-in with our staff, and we have to give 10 candidates. Like, I'm looking at you right now in the face, pal. Dylan Raiola is already on my list.
No shame in that. No shame in that. And
like,
you look at the schedule.
From everything we were talking about, if Nebraska is 7-0 and he's playing awesome, to be the face of the person that brings Nebraska football back, that is a very compelling and inherently interesting Heisman angle. So I'm just going to put that out there. I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman. I'm just saying I am really, really, really high on what he can do.
Yeah. It's also potentially lucrative because being the guy who brings Nebraska back, like the NCAA always talk true NIL. You get the ultimate in true NIL if you're the dude who brings Nebraska back. You're going to get so many tractor commercials. It's going to be incredible. Yeah. Seed commercials. It's going to be awesome. I hope Dylan Raiola can act. That's all I know, because he's going to be in a lot of commercials.
I don't know if he'll ever be in a cooler commercial, literally and figuratively, than DeColdis Crawford, but we'll get there one day.
But unfortunately, DeColdis Crawford did not get to make his mark on the field.
Yeah, no, but the Nebraska commercial will live in my heart forever.
Yeah. Fitty in the chat. Yeah, if Dylan Raiola gets the Runza account, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. All right, so I can't wait for this game, because I don't think it's going to be as easy for Nebraska as you think it is. But no matter what happens, everybody's going to have blazing takes off of this game. Because you've got your Deion haters, you've got your Deion lovers, where there can be no middle ground. You can never say, I think Colorado's just okay. Like, you have to say they're gonna stink, or you have to say they're gonna win the Big 12. That you're not allowed to say anything else.
Well, I'm going to call dibs on this right now, but I believe the Texas-Michigan game is at noon on Saturday.
It is.
So, which means that you and I will be watching this game together. Dibs on the column after this one, please. Like, let your boy cook, because like this is something that I'm going to want to write about on Saturday night after a long day.
Ari, you know what the beauty of this is? We can both write columns about this. It's not going to be, we call it in and the editor goes, well, Andy's already writing that, Ari, so you can't also write about that game that everybody's interested in. So maybe you want to do something for Thursday about that? No, I'm
the
takes will blast it into your brains.
Yeah, I already wrote the lead, and the game is 8 days away, or whatever, 5 days away. I'm so excited.
I highly recommend against that.
No, I'm kidding.
Is it Dylan Raiola is the best? I love Dylan Raiola. Is that?
Yeah. There's something
what
about
if they
Jesus
lose?
Shuttlesworth in there somewhere about like how this is the greatest recruit of all time. No, I'm just excited to watch it. And honestly speaking, think that is the game of next week.
I think it's the game everybody's going to be glued to, no matter what happens. Because whether it's a blowout either way, people are going to be glued to that. Because people love to bag on Nebraska and people love to bag on Deion. So they're going to love that either way. If it's close, because Deion's involved and because Nebraska's involved, everybody who would have been watching something else is going to gravitate toward this game.
I think the Michigan-Texas game is the most interesting game of the week as it pertains to acorns of how the season's going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the most compelling game for the reality television aspect of college football.
Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.